and welcome to Gate TV. My name is Charlotte Richardson and you join me for the latest instalment of Unlocking the Gate. This is the opportunity where we get to sit down with some key figures at the football club to find out a little bit more about them and about their roles at Hartsdown Park. And I'm really pleased for this instalment to be joined by our ladies team manager, Evan Paris. Firstly, Ev, how are you and how are you keeping in lockdown?
Yeah, very well. Really pleased that the lockdown's a nightmare for everyone. But as long as we've all got our health, then we'll get through this.
Yeah, we certainly will. And I know there'll be a lot of football managers who were disappointed about the suspension of football for 4 weeks, but probably no one more so than yourself, because the girls were on absolute fire, weren't they? Really one of the informed teams. Tell us a little bit about how the season started and the role that you were on.
Well, firstly, we're disappointed last year got cancelled when it did, but all looking forward to this season. Yeah, they were raring to go at the start. We knew we'd be one of the teams to beat, and it's panning out that way. The girls, six games in, undefeated at the moment, sitting at the top of the table. So the break didn't come at a brilliant time. That state is too much, but yeah, the season's going well. They've got to put their foot down once we get back, but I'm so pleased with them, and the team's buzzing at the moment.
It really did feel like you picked up where you left off, like you say, from last season. You were due to play in the cup final, and we put those disappointments aside. But in more recent weeks, you obviously went away to the Gallagher Stadium, and that looked like it was a thrilling game. Beating them 3-2 was a real statement as well, wasn't it, from your team?
Yes, that was the only team that beat us last year. It was between us and them for the title last year, so we knew it was going to be a massive game this year. For the girls to go there, made them unbeaten for a good year and a half.
Wow.
So for us to go there on their patch and come away with a result, a tight game, nail biting, but they got the 3 points, and Mason's heads, I've spoken to one or two of their ladies, their heads have dropped a little bit, but there's plenty of time in the season to go. Nothing's won yet. So yeah,
that's the thing about the women's game, isn't it? Yeah, it's so competitive, isn't it, at that level and all levels within the women's games. You can't rest on your laurels, and I'm sure that won't be the case at all. And for supporters that might not know much about the women's game, can you fill us in on like what the pyramid looks like and where the girls are at the moment?
Well, from the top, for the Women's Super League, obviously is your Tier 1. The actual ladies' game has 9 levels, 9 tiers. Margate is sitting at Tier 7 at the moment, with the South East Counties Women's Football League, which covers Surrey, Sussex and Kent. Next, Tier 6, what we're aiming for at the end of this season, goes into the Greater London and Southern Counties. So it's a completely different league. But Herne Bay, who went up 2 years ago from our division, I believe are currently sitting top of Tier 6. So the tier we're in to the one above, there's not much in it. We play teams in their league. We compete with teams in their league. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the girls up a league this year. But then to go on further, you've got your national leagues. That's when they start to get paid, starting semi-pro. And then obviously up to the Super League 1 and 2, which all your main Premier League clubs have their ladies teams in those sort of leagues.
Yeah, there's been so much growth within the women's game, hasn't there, within the structure and the professionalism at the very top. Tell us then, how did you get involved at Margate? Where did it all begin?
Well, again, I used to run my boys' teams at youth level, and my daughter came along with 3 older brothers. She was always kicking the ball around. She said, "Just Dad, can I play football?" And of course, you can't say no. They're kids. So at under 7s, I believe we started as a youth team. We came over to Margate Youth with Margate Youth first girls team in the club. We came over possibly 6-7 years ago now. Time flies. And yeah, I say locally, the girls' game is pretty decent. There's a lot participating now. But when we started, we were the first team, first all-girls team locally. But as I say, the growth of the game. Now you can look at Margate Youth, and they've got some very successful young girls teams, and hopefully that's for the future for the ladies. They can have somewhere to go, somewhere to step up, and they don't have to go elsewhere. We've got a good setup at Margate, so there's always that area they can look to improve and hopefully join in with.
Yeah, I think that's one of the greatest assets that the club has, really. I know Jay speaks about it a lot. He's really passionate about getting players through the youth system. And likewise for you, you know that pathway's building and you've got a talented bunch of players that you can kind of bleed into the first team. And you mentioned the setup within Kent, and that was actually going to be my next question, because there's a lot of appetite and hunger in Kent. And you've obviously got Gillingham, who are kind of top of the tree in rankings, so to speak. Yep. But there's Ramsgate, there's Maidstone. It also always surprises me as well that some of the clubs like Dover and Ebbsfleet haven't set up women's teams yet. But I suppose it's part of the culture at Margate. It's been, having a women's team has been something that they've been really, really proud of.
Yeah, Margate are very supportive. The club are very supportive of the female teams. And that's a bonus for our ladies to know that they're wanted. They're not just a team that's chucked out on a school pitch or a park pitch somewhere. They're really well supported by the club in general. As for Kent, it's booming. It's everywhere in Kent. But unfortunately, as with Jay probably, our catchment area, being surrounded by sea in Thanet, the catchment area is so small. So you have to look further afield. And I think my team, I've got one lady that lives in Raynham, Deal, Canterbury, so they come in from that area, but generally, if we can get the players from Thanet and from the Margate youth teams especially to come up, it'd be a bonus for the ladies.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose a key asset for you when you're talking to players and when you're looking to recruit, it must be the fact that the team trains at Hartsdown Park, it plays at Hartsdown Park. There is a synergy, isn't there, in terms of the profile, trying to grow the attendances. How important is that in terms of what you're trying to do with the team? To the simplest of things, being able to have the same training facility and stuff like that. Can you give an insight to supporters again about how that dynamic with the club works?
Yeah, well, I say we obviously train and play at Hartsdown Park, one of the best venues in Kent. I mean, there's other teams look forward to coming to play Margate at home, or whether they look forward to going to the Gallagher, because they know the facilities are superb. So yeah, as I say, with the support from the club, with the pride that the ladies play with, because they play for Margate. And now to have the fans coming along, certain fans coming along, the support's growing, and yeah, to be involved with the Margate setup for the ladies, for myself, and hopefully for the supporters. It's say if we're on a good run and we're up there fighting for promotion in leagues, then generally for people locally, I think it's superb.
Yeah, and as you know, Ev, I love the women's game, and it's something I've been involved with for a number of years. And again, it's sometimes when you turn up to grounds, it can be quite shocking, actually, the facilities that women's teams are asked to play at. And I've had definitely people within the game sometimes come to me and say, we can't even get a third of a pitch to train on. And it breaks my heart a little bit, really, because you've got to have that equal opportunity to be able to develop and grow. And just as an observer, it really feels to me like the club's progress has accelerated a lot in the last 18 months. And I wonder whether having that consistency and that leadership from yourself, it's helping, and hence why you've gone on this great run at the start of the season, because you do have a lot of the players from the year before, they like the club. It all builds a nice picture, doesn't it?
It does. We know we're backed by the club, and that is such a good feeling for all involved to know they're backed. I'm not going to name names. There's teams out there that are a little side bit to a club. They are. We've got to show a little bit of support for the ladies' game. Chuck a ladies' team out there. There's some out there. They're buying their own kits. They're having to find their own pitches. And I say some of these pitches out there, they're pretty shocking.
Oh, so, you wouldn't play a game there. Some of the parts.
You wouldn't put youth out on some of the pitches. Yeah, so you wouldn't put some of these youth teams out on the pitches that these ladies have to go and play on. So if with the game's growth, hopefully they will get the backing of their main clubs, and they'll see that there will be revenue. I say the supporters are growing, and with those supporters, money they're not paying at the moment to come in to watch. A few leagues up, you get that support. And say there's Dulwich Hamlet, who we played in the FA Cup this year. It was only a few weeks ago they had a game that nearly had 600 paying supporters for the game to go and watch the ladies. So you work your way up the leagues, you build a fan base, and it's not all about revenue, but there is a certain amount of revenue that can be brought into the club from a ladies team.
Yeah, and I wanted to get your thoughts as well, because the weekend that's just been on the international break, it's normally an initiative, women's football weekend that's run by the FA, and normally they would encourage clubs to go and watch their local women's team, but obviously that can't quite happen for certain levels of the game at the moment, but it can for the elite. And it was really interesting watching Man City and Man United play at BT Sport. And because Man United didn't exist until 2 years ago, and that kind of implosion of brands like that, it really helps lift the game, doesn't it? That kind of awareness that just didn't exist 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think they were very slow on the uptake, Man United with the ladies team, as say, in 2 years. And I believe they're currently top of the WSL. And that's come in 2 years. Now, yeah, they've got a lot of money to throw at their ladies team. But I think there was a lot of disgust in the women's game that a team like Manchester United, a club like Manchester United, didn't have a ladies team. So, yeah, but as I say, Man United, Man City on BT Sport, superb for the game. Superb. Yeah. And the quality of football is decent.
It was a really good game. City were leading 2-0, then they squandered it, and Man United, and it was just, brilliant to watch. And you made the point about revenue. And what I read in an article recently that 2 of the Man United women's signings outsold any of Man United's transfer activity over the past year, which is astounding, really, isn't it? And it shows, what great strides have happened.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but yeah, superb, absolutely superb.
Well, let's draw it back to your team. And again, for supporters tuned in, I'm sure many of them have gone down to Hartstown Park, because I see it on social media, we see it on YouTube. Whenever we put highlights up, people love to see how the women's team are getting on. Talk us through your team a bit. I've met them on occasions. They're a great bunch of girls, a really good group. But yeah, talk us through like your kind of 11 in your squad and how you like to normally play without giving too many of your tactics away.
Firstly, with the squad, so let's say we've got quite a settled squad. We've got a few new faces this year. We had a few leave end of last year, which surprised me, especially where they went. But yeah, starting goalkeeper. Unfortunately, she's played her last game for us. She's signed up to the Royal Navy. So my goalkeeper, Lauren Watson, she's been with me for quite a few years now. I'm devastated. She's a quality keeper, and I need somebody to fill her gloves now.
Right, okay, people. If you're a goalkeeper, get in contact with Evan.
I've got it out now. I'm trying to find Optiful. So I'm trying to find. I've got a plan B at the moment, but I'd like to go to a plan A and find a decent number 1 to fill her shoes. At the back, depending on who we're playing. Last season, you generally start with 3 at the back. Goals win games. I know people say clean sheets, they'll cliche clean sheets will win you a game. I like going out entertaining, scoring goals. I think this year in 6 games we've scored 32, so averaging over 5 a game at the moment. But this year, 4-5-1. I've started a bit cautiously. I want to try and stop conceding or slow down conceding, which hasn't happened on a couple of games where we've conceded very early on. But my centre back, Rebecca Slevin, she's a skipper. She organises everything from back there. She's a quality player. At the right back, the youngest player on the team, she recently just turned 17. Little Lily Kemp. She came from youth set up at Gillingham, and she's got a very, very mature head. Through the middle, the team's got a lot of pace. We're not the biggest team out there. There's no point lumping the ball up to the middle, up front, because stature, height-wise, when we're coming up against fully developed women now, I've got 17 or 18-year-olds in the team who aren't quite developed. Same as with the men's game. If you've got 17, 18-year-olds, they're going to come up against 28, 29-year-olds. They just haven't quite fully developed yet. So we go more for pace on the floor. I've got a couple of lightning quick wingers. Nico Adams, superb all over the pitch. Cara Richardson up front. Now, a lot of people will know about Cara. She is very quick. She was last season's leading goal scorer in the league with stops, and I believe currently she's up there again this year. Through the middle, Lucy Paris, my daughter. She's quite a solid player in the middle. She's the one that links the defence to up front. But as I say, pace-wise, Shannon King, Jess Laker, they're all quality. Young Annabelle Ashby, who's 2 years ago hadn't really played much football, but she's one of the starting 11 now. Not the biggest girl, but quick, determined, and she's got a good eye for a pass. She knows how to play the ball out. It's not all just lumping the ball out from the back now. So there's just a bit more composure with the team. I'm trying to keep possession a bit more, trying to run teams ragged. Now, I say the other teams are big in stature. Some of them are, well, I say we're quick. We've got quite a pacey team. So if we pass the ball around other teams, then we're always going to make chances at the end of the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely been my impression when I've seen the team play, particularly, like you say, the width and the pace of the girls is just incredible. So I haven't been shocked really by some of the score lines. You've definitely got goals within your team. And if we look ahead, fingers crossed, we'll be easing out of lockdown, maybe at least being able to play again. What are your aspirations for the rest of the season? If, fingers crossed, from now on it can be smooth and we can actually finish the campaign?
The leagues are fairly small. We have 10 teams in our league, so there's 18 league games. We're 6 in. We're unbeaten. If I can go the other 12 unbeaten, I'll be over the moon. When the season got called off last year, I think we were 9 games in. We'd lost 1 game all year. So if I can better that this year, superb. We've had a draw this year. It felt like a defeat, but it's still a point. It's still not an L on the charts. If we can go the rest of the season, I don't mind if we win by 1 point or if we win by 10 points. I just really want the ladies to get what they deserved and hopefully win the league this year.
That's a brilliant aspiration to have. And another aspiration that I know you and the general manager and myself have spoken about is we want to break a record for attendance, don't we? That is what we're working towards. We're trying to increase the promotion of the games. Yep. And as you've alluded to already, within the supporters club and the networks, you're building a fan base up and people are giving it a chance, because sometimes, you know, you have to break down those walls and those stereotypes. And then when they're coming to Hartstown Park to watch the Gates women's team, they love it, don't they?
Yeah, the ladies are amazed when they hear people cheering them on, when it's not just their friends and family and there's faces there that they've never seen before. Yeah. It's brilliant to have them cheering on from the sidelines. And not just that, even on the socials, when, say, the Margate Supporters Club or your Facebook sites, Twitter, people are talking about them. Yeah. And the first thing we've got to do to get the fans in is get people talking about us. So once they're all talking, hopefully they'll come down. It's free to watch. Come down and watch hopefully a decent game of football. It costs nothing on a Sunday to come down and watch the ladies. And yeah, the more we can get in, the louder we can get them. It'll be great to break some sort of record to get an attendance record. Yeah.
I think we should set it. Fingers crossed again, like I say, Hartstown Park can reopen soon and we'll be able to have supporters come down. So obviously that was one of the frustrations, that so much work went into making it a safe environment. So we were able to open up on a Saturday and Sunday. And I know there will be a lot of appetite for people to watch football games again. And hopefully a few people that might be watching this are thinking, oh, do you know what, actually, I want to go and watch those players and the team that you've assembled. How are the girls at the moment? Are they able to keep in touch kind of virtually or on WhatsApp, keep themselves sort of ticking over fitness-wise as well?
Yeah, we've got a team group chat. A lot of it on there is nonsense. That goes a lot. I try and keep out of all of that. I work outside personally, but I see a few of them pounding the pavements out there, jogging, keeping themselves fit, which is great to see. But yeah, they're all in touch with one another. They're a good, close team. We don't have any little sort of divisions or any sections of the team. People might think, oh, it's a team of ladies, bit. There's nothing like that. We're a real close, well-humoured team.
Good. Well, that's really good to hear. I've got a few quick fire questions for you. Nothing too tough.
Go on then.
Let's whittle through some of them. Some of them are obviously to do with your role at Margate, but some of them are just about you, really. And I want to know, who was your favourite player growing up?
Probably Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, okay. Who's your team?
Liverpool.
I was thinking that. And then more of a Margate-based question. Who's the toughest opponent that you've come across in your time as Margate manager?
100% Maidstone.
Yeah, they're a good outfit, aren't they?
They're very good. As I say, they were unbeaten last year. They were leading us in the league last year when it got voided, and the only team to beat us last year. So going back to your earlier question, that's why it was so important to go there and get 3 points earlier this season.
And is there a song that you and the girls listen to before you go out on a match day? What is on the speakers?
No, definitely. Like I said, a lot of them are 17, 18 years old. So what they're listening to, I haven't got a clue. there is a lot of noise coming out of that speaker, and they're all singing along, TikToking along to it. But yeah, I'm a bit past that one.
Fair enough. Okay, this one I'm really intrigued by. Would you rather a 5-0 drubbing over a team or a last-minute winner over a team?
100% last-minute winner.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I think it was Long Lane this year. We put 13 past. It's not a game of football. I feel for the opposition. Don't get me wrong. The girls need to be ruthless, and they need to get the goals. But I much prefer a 3-2, a 2-1. Somebody get the heart pounding.
Fair enough. And how would you describe your managerial style in 3 words?
Oh, that's yeah. I can be strict, hopefully fun, but passionate.
Well, I think those are a really good 3. And maybe a slightly controversial one now. If you could have one player from another team in your league as an early Christmas present to come into the Margate team, who would you love to sign?
Aylesford's goalkeeper.
There you go. That's the call. That's what's on your Christmas wish list. And now this one might end up going back onto the WhatsApp group. If you had to be isolated with one of the players in your team, who would you go into isolation with and why? Who could you stomach for 14 days and who would drive you mad? Flip reverse.
100%. I would spend time with my daughter.
Good.
100%. She's an absolute diamond, and I've known her for quite a while. The one that drive me mad and drive the rest of the team mad would be Nicole Adams. She's a lovely, lovely person, but she's mental.
And then back to a more football-based question. If you could change one of the laws of the game, what would it be and why?
What would it be and why? Oh, one of the laws of the game. Well, there's a lot of talk about the 5 substitutions at the moment. We have roll and roll off, which is good for getting the players out there, but it's also nice in the ladies' game when you do, say, an FA Cup cup match or, a county cup match, when you've only got the option of 3 from, say, 5. The roll and roll off is good, but there's a lot of stoppages in the games, especially if somebody deliberately wants to stop that game. They can just continually roll and roll off. So maybe the 3 subs.
Okay, that's a really interesting one, and again, probably something there that that supporters might not know about. That's a rule that does apply to the women's game. And my final quickfire question: you might have seen recently the 4 new kits coming out. Obviously, the ladies will be wearing them. What one of those 4 designs is your favourite?
Personally, I love the blue home kit, outfield kit. The ladies, they love the pink kit. They love the pink kit. Now, 3-4 years ago, don't put us in pink. Just because we're girls, you're going to put us in pink. But no, they're absolutely amazed by all 4 superb. I like the home kit. The ladies looking forward to getting in that away kit.
You know what, you say that, and when I speak to some of the guys in the first team, in the men's team, they really like the pink one as well. So universally, I think it's got quite a lot of appeal because the design is just, it's beautiful. And I've seen some photos of it in the flesh, and it looks even better. So fingers crossed. I just want to get back to football so we can see our teams playing great football and playing in a great kit as well. Ed, that's probably all the time that we've got for this episode of Unlocking the Gate. Can I thank you for giving up your time? It's been really great to chat to you, to catch up, and also to showcase a little bit about all your hard work that you do with our successful women's team.
Thanks, Charlotte. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. And do make sure that you subscribe to Gate TV so that every time one of these Unlocking the Gate episodes goes live, you will be the first to hear about it. Also, comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for our very next episode. And until then, I'll see you soon.